11:20 a.m. On March 18th, I've just finished watching Zack Snyder's Justice League. I've been up since 6:30 a.m. I am tired. These are my thoughts. Hey guys, how you doing? My name is CODENAMEBIGBEAR, or Stuart if you want to call me by my first name. Welcome to a special Bears Den. I'm trying to get this out the same day as I've recorded this and just watched Zack Snyder's Justice League. And oh, I'm going to talk about this, I'll tell you that much. So first off, have I actually seen Justice League before? Yes, I have. 2017. I've seen that version twice. Both times I watched it, I was extremely disappointed. Especially the first time. The first time I watched it, I was a bit like, this is not what I wanted at all. But fine, you know, Zack Snyder had to leave because of personal reasons, and I kind of understand how the change of direction happened. Personally, I think Joss Whedon was the wrong choice to replace Snyder. Yeah, he took the job, he did things, and he ruined it for me. The second time I watched it, it was even worse because I really started to pick at the film as I went as well. And after watching this, I really feel that he kind of made fun of Ben Affleck for putting on weight in between those shoots. Especially when Superman turns up and he's like, you guys are fast, all that kind of crap. I really felt bad for Affleck during that film. But today, Snyder Cut finally released. We got it and I loved it. That's my whole review. See ya. No, genuinely, I loved it. I genuinely loved it. It was a 4-hour-long film, and it was paced so well. I mean, I really feel like the pacing of this film was just kind of perfect. The first 2 hours or so is setting up and kind of going back on what happened in BVS. You know, it made the importance of Superman's death important. It wasn't kind of brushed over and all of a sudden he's back. It was literally, there's a whole thing going on here. It really built upon Steppenwolf. Steppenwolf is absolutely brilliant in this, by the way. He is so good. I love Steppenwolf. So in the 2017 cut, you have this one point. There's going to be minor spoilers through this entire review, but just minor spoilers. If you've seen the first version, then you'll get it. And then there might be big spoilers. I'll reveal them at the end if they are. But there was one point in the original Justice League version where he gets shot with an arrow and just kind of swats out of the way. In this, he catches it, just snaps the arrow, and it's like, yeah, that was badass, that was so good. His suit of armor is wicked. It just takes on arrows, and he's just like, yeah, it's fine, I'm gonna deal with this. And oh, he's just a much better villain. He's more realized, he is more focused. The fact that he was an outcast of Darkseid's, in this story, in this version of him, he's an outcast. He has more kind of reason to do what he's doing. And it just, oh, it was so good. That's the Steppenwolf we needed. Plus, he looked about 50 times better than what they did in the other version as well. On the effects, like for the most part, this film looks absolutely brilliant. It really does. But there was a few ropey CGI moments here and there. I put that down to, you know, maybe like they're kind of running out of budget near the end, lack of time constraints, and they wanted to get this film out as soon as they could. You know, just I don't really know, but there were a few ropey ones, but I can forgive it because, like I said, for me, the whole film was so good. Barry Allen, the Flash. Yes, he falls over at least twice in this film, but he falls over once, well, 3 times in this film actually, he falls over. But he falls over once because he wasn't paying attention to what he was doing. It was more kind of like, hey, look what I just did. Touched the sword and it got to Wonder Woman. I helped you. And yes, that's in the Whedon cut as well, so fair enough, it's there. Another one is Superman just kind of swats him out the way, and that's how come he falls over there. Another one, again, it's just kind of, he couldn't stop his momentum for doing what he wanted to do, and that was it. But even though he does fall over these 3 times, I never felt he was kind of in there just to make a joke out of Barry Allen. I really just felt like, or he didn't have control of his powers. I felt he had control, just certain aspects just didn't quite happen. Like he was a fully realized The Flash at this point. It wasn't like he was just kind of, he was still comic relief, but not stupid or just kind of constant quips and stupidness coming out. He was just a fanboy. You know, he loved Batman, so he got excited over Batman things. Yeah, again, these kind of things happen in the Joss Whedon cut, but it was just kind of, for me, it was just portrayed better in this. It just really was. Wonder Woman, she didn't have an amazing amount to do in this. She was more about like bringing the history of Darkseid and Steppenwolf into this story. She does get some kick-ass moments, though, I tell you that. She has an amazing fight with Steppenwolf. Oh, it's so good. It's not even very long, but it was so cool. I just really loved it. This is whole bit where it's going, and I was like, yeah, I was so excited. Oh, I was so excited. Guys, I mean, oh, it was so good. So good. So like the Batman, Batman was just brilliant. Ben Affleck, so Ben Affleck is one of those. When he first got cast, I was like, you know what, Ben Affleck, really? After Daredevil, you sure you can play Batman? And then I kind of slowly came around to the idea. Then I watched BVS and I was like, yes, he is Batman. Yes, that is great. I love everything about this. And like the fact that he is kind of, one thing I noticed throughout this entire film is that Affleck seemed happier and he looked healthier throughout the entire film. There was no jarring cuts where his hair's different or his weight's all of a sudden fluctuated. It was just, it all made sense. It all kind of, there was a continuity with Affleck throughout this entire film, and that's because I believe Snyder didn't put any single shot that was in the Joss Whedon version that Joss Whedon filmed into this film, and it really shows. I mean, like, Batman just felt more like Batman or BVS. He felt like he had more purpose, and he felt like this whole story arc of Batman kind of putting a promise that he made to Superman at his grave to get this team together and defend the Earth and kind of make up for basically getting the guy killed. And it just, it was really nice seeing Ben Affleck kind of Batman again, like properly Batman. It was really, really nice. I'm actually just, oh yeah. I mean, even like Aquaman was more realised in this. And, yeah, I remember in the first Justice League version, he was just kind of thrown in, and he kind of, it just didn't really. Yes, Affleck went to go see him, and he was like, "Nah, I'm not going to do this," and he kind of turns up. It made more sense for him to actually turn up this time round, which was good, which was great. I mean, he turns up kind of an inconvenient point, to be honest, but hey, that's every superhero film you've ever seen in your life. It's always about convenience. Oh, that brings me around to, so yeah, Arthur Curry, Aquaman, yeah, he kicked ass. He was great, and I felt he was more believable as a character in this film than he was in his own movie. Because that movie took such a turn and tone, especially away from Man of Steel and Batman vs Superman, it didn't work for me. It didn't gel for me. It was fine. But you know, I felt he was a much better realised character within this film than it was in even his own film. Brings me to Amber Heard. Screw her. I hate her. Just hate her. She's a terrible person, terrible actress. That's all I'm going to say. And then you have Cyborg. Cyborg finally realised. I mean, I'm a big fan of DC, and I've read a lot of Justice League comics and stuff, and Cyborg was so good, and he was kind of minuscule in the 2017 version. He has an entire point to why he's even there. We have all this backstory that kind of gives you that emotion towards his character. Ray Fisher just did an amazing job. He really did. I mean, by the end, I was caring more about Barry Allen, and I was way more excited about that. But he did, and it just... Cyborg is Cyborg in this. It was great to see that, especially after watching Doom Patrol recently as well, and kind of getting all that kind of that version of Cyborg kind of realised and seeing what was going on there. It just made me want this version that we got. And yeah, he was so good, and he just. Why did they cut it all out? Why did they do that in the previous one? They had so much footage and so much story that could have. It made more sense to the overall story of Justice League to have Cyborg have all this thing going on, and they cut it out. I don't know why, but in the Snyder cut, he was more realized. I said that so many times, but so good. Just genuinely loved this. The music, just general pacing of the film, just brilliant. This is my instant reaction. I've not even written anything down. I've literally just finished watching and just come up here, so I'm rambling again. I apologize, but Okay, alright, okay, let's do this. Okay, for the last 2 hours of the film-ish, I was basically like, oh! I was just, the whole range of emotions was going on. And that stopped, well, I say started from this point, but there was one point in this film, and, yeah, so, huge spoiler, by the way, huge spoiler, if you don't know already, Martian Manhunter turns up. And when he did, I was like, oh my god! I was so excited. I'm sorry if I just blew your ears out with that. If you're wearing headphones, I'm so sorry. But yeah, it just, I love this film. I loved it. And this is the Justice League we needed. Like, if this came out in the cinema, we should have had this, man. We should have had this. Warner Brothers should have kept their grubby little fingers off of it, and shouldn't even brought Joss Whedon in. He was so Marvel. He's absolutely quintessential Marvel. The way he does films. Obviously, he's bad bloke Whedon at the moment, but he's quintessential Marvel, and him putting that kind of on DC just didn't make sense. DC is not Marvel. DC never has been Marvel. DC is a much darker comic book series. Yes, it has mild comedy, which is why it's in this film. And there were moments where I did genuinely laugh, and but I was more just, If you get a chance, watch this film. Basically, it may be 4 hours, but if you've watched Lord of the Rings extended cuts, who cares? You don't need it. 4 hours. This kind of flew by. All of a sudden, I was like, oh damn, it's like 10 o'clock. That's 3 hours in. Oh, okay, fair enough. I'm just going to quickly make a cup of tea and then run on back. And, oh, yes. We needed this film. I'm so happy it's come out. I'm so happy it was so good as well. There are still going to be people out there that hate on this film and say, oh, it still wasn't as good. Oh, it's just as bad as the original. And that's rubbish. Absolute rubbish. The way this film was portrayed and the different vision that Zack Snyder had made this film what it is right now. Very quickly, because I've got almost no time left on my recording here. But very quickly, the Joker scene. Yeah. Do you know what? I quite like Leto in this film. He worked. He was quite good. He only has a very tiny role in this, but it worked, and I really enjoyed it. I still want to see what he was able to bring to the table Suicide Squad wise, because apparently he filmed like an entire feature-length version of his Joker. We could have seen, but we didn't, and Suicide Squad was rubbish. Let's just kind of one-side that one. But no, I really enjoyed him. I enjoyed his interactions with Ben Affleck and the rest of the team. Superman was just kick-ass, and it was really nice to not have that distracting face thing going on that we had. Yeah. Basically, guys, if you haven't seen this, watch this film. I'm going to go now because I am running out of time, as I said. And don't forget to be nice to each other, yeah?